friends, please, for the love of God, get yourself a beverage. I got myself a McDonald's Diet Coke. It's about 1 o'clock. I'm hoping I'm done filming this by 5. I'm giving myself a lot of time because we had another 30+ book month. We're here with another book journal video. I've had a couple of comments on other videos of people being like, I'm waiting for it. Last month, if you remember, I should probably turn off this light so you can see. Yeah, there we go. We did a really pretty pastel rainbow theme. This month, I'm going to be using the confetti purple foil from my shop. As you can see, it's super freaking pretty. We have so many goodies. I have all of my like fan art stuff to use. We have got a bunch of dividers, divider 8, divider 7, mixed deco, some flowers, some stars. I have this partial sheet of dividers. I've got a partial sheet of stars. We've got our like tracker bars, our tracker fill-ins. We've got our tracker text. We have got some sparkly deco. We've got DNF, May Wrapped, May Reads, genres, locations, and a whole bunch of quotes and all of my book covers. And then we also have a bunch of the like boxes from Scribble Prints Co. to use for our quotes. Anything I use, I'll tell you where you can find it. Anything from my shop, you can find on my shop. And you can use the code of HRR20 for 20% off. I did go in and put in my book of the month that I picked for May and June, as well as book club. If you aren't part of our book club, linked down below, you can join. We are reading the great BBL this month. And with that being said, I'm just gonna jump into it because we have so much to go over that I don't want to waste any time, literally any time. I think I read like 31 books. We had 2 DNFs this month. So we're gonna pop in May Reads. I think that this purple is so pretty for the month of May. Then I will put in a little divider underneath it. And yeah, my average rating for the month was not stellar. It was like a 3.4 or a 3.5. I really would like for this month for it to be closer to a 5 or closer to a 4 or in the 4 range. I think that would be amazing if that could happen. Because we've had some pretty high numbers, page count and book number wise these past few months, but it's been kind of disappointing on the enjoyment factor, which maybe I need to focus more on quality and not quantity. But the issue is, not even that the issue, but the thing is that I'm not reading books that I think are gonna be mid for the most part. There was one book I read this month that I knew I wasn't gonna like, but it's for like a fun little silly video concept where one of my best friends picks my reads and I read some of her favorite books. So that one I kind of knew I wasn't gonna be like loving the books that I read, but otherwise like I pick up books that I think I'm probably gonna like, or I picked up at one point thinking I would like it. So there's that. All of these stickers in this little portion are from my shop. And I also do have a May book journal bundle. Oh, I also have all of these sticker sheets for each of the books that I read. So with that being said, we're just going to talk about our first book. We're going to put 2 books in this section. So I am going to grab a divider. Grab this one and I will just kind of pop this down the center here. And I'm gonna open this. So the first book that I read this month was The Dawn of Yang Chen. I have all of my book quotes here just like in a pile because this is the easiest way for me to make things for myself. It's not how they will look nice and beautiful and on a specific, like all together on one sheet of paper, looking nice if you order them, but this is just what is the easiest. I basically will just kind of pop them in on any sheet that I can find room for them while I'm working throughout the month to save on paper, because paper is very fucking expensive. So I'm just kind of sorting these out, kind of put, because there's the books that I rate highly. I do multiple quotes for them, so I'm trying to sort everything out, you know what I'm saying? Definitely better carry on, definitely better. Mile high, mile high, mile high. This is one of the books I'm about to do. Horror Store, where did that go? There it is, there it is. The Bodyguard, boop-a-doo. Boop, boop, boop. Okay. So, my issue is I don't think I found the one for the book that I'm currently doing. Where did it go? Oh, no. Oh, no, oh, no, 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 no. I swear, every time I film one of these videos, oh, here it is. There's some sort of issue. Every time. There's never a time where it goes smooth. I think literally, ever. It's always tragic. Tragic vibes every time. There's definitely more quotes for this book, but I don't... Oh, here they are. Okay. So, we're done being chaos. Just kidding. We're just simply not. So for Dawn of Yang Chen, I didn't really have anything super specific to use, so I'm just going to use some book stickers in light, or in lavender for this situation. And my quote goes on box version 3 from Pearl Princess. So, first things first is I'm going to get the book sticker. These book stickers are available in my shop. You just pick which book cover you want. You can do a quantity of 1 on a sheet, 4 on a sheet, 6 on a sheet. No. 1, 4, 8, or 10, I believe, are the options of how many can go on a sheet. And yeah, then you just tell me the book's title. And the author is also helpful. Not everybody adds the author, but sometimes people will give me a book and there's a book, like many books with that title, and I have to kind of try to guess, and that's a little bit tricky, but we're gonna pop in that for the quote. This box is from SPC, and then I'm also gonna use the like star thing here from SPC, and then I'm gonna fill it in with the stars from my shop, which are formatted to fit this. And again, these are in confetti purple that I basically pick like one color for the month. So basically, if you were gonna buy the monthly bundle, just pick one color for the month. Like last month I did Pastel Rainbow, and this month I did this color. I rated this book 3 stars, I believe. Yes. I didn't really love it. This is a series. It's called the Avatar Chronicles. The first 2 books are about Avatar Kyoshi. The next 2 books are about Avatar Yang Chen, and then the next 2 books, they're not both out, only one of them is out, is I believe about Avatar Roku, and I just am not loving the Yang Chen books. But the quote that I picked is, love could sometimes be a weakness, mercy could sometimes be cruel. And I'm just going to use these book stickers because, you know, it was a book, and she is an airbender. They're very like studious, very peaceful people. They don't want to cause a ton of harm, so thought this could be Cutie Pie Honey Bunch. And then we are just gonna fill in with the dot deco that comes on here. I've explained this many a times. I have a full video on Book Journal 101 on my other YouTube channel where I go over like how much I have left over of stuff at the end of the month. And like these sheets, for a half page dedicated to the book, which is everything that I read that's not 5 stars, you could probably get 2 spreads out of each one of these deco sheets, depending on how hard you go. But I think that that's like about all I'm gonna use, and there's still quite a bit on here that you could use for another spread. It's just so funny with this being purple and this being purple. It's very purple. Next, I read Pictures of You by Emma Gray. Also, The Dawn of Yang Chen is in my May audiobook video, which is already up and live on my channel. And then my quote is going to be this size, box version 6 from Scribble Prints Co. This is in my Reading New to Me Authors video, I believe, which has been up for quite some time. And I'm gonna, oh my goodness, you guys, why didn't anybody remind me? No, I messed everything up. I'm a loser. I fucked up. gonna stay like this, I guess. And I'm gonna cover these up. This is so wasteful, but it is what it is. I forgot to add in all of my fan art. Silly rabbit. I do have this of Yang Chen that I for sure want to put in because she looks so stunning here. So we'll pop this in here. Listen, I only film these once a month, so I think that's why I'm kind of a lot all over the place, but I'm still irritated with myself. And then I did have the like Airbender logo, but I think that's a bit too big, so I think I'm just not going to put that in, and we're going to be more careful with our next book. Oh my god, I'm so annoyed about that. So I am just going to toss in a little bit more of this deco, for the simple fact that a lot of it got covered up by my nonsense. That was a me issue. Why didn't you remind me? Ugh, but anywho, so Pictures of You is in a video where I'm reading new to me authors. I did not particularly like this book, I'll be honest with you. I did not give it a stellar rating, but we have a couple of fan art things, as well as we have our quote, which I'm just going to pop on here. The quote says, "Boundaries are something you put around yourself. When someone else puts them around you, it's called a prison." Love that quote, actually. The book was just very mid. The main character was kind of like not nice, so I was just not really rooting for her. But in it, it's basically about this woman who gets into a car wreck, and when she wakes up, she finds out that her husband's dead. But the issue is she doesn't really feel sad about it because she does not remember her husband. She has amnesia, doesn't remember him, and then she's kind of like on the run because his family is like on her for not being sad about this, and they think she's like a horrible person because she's not devastated by the death of somebody that she does not remember. And it's very like an interesting concept, but I just did not like our main character, so it made it like hard to care about what she was dealing with. But I'm gonna use a hospital, we have the car wreck, and then there's a whole storyline regarding cameras. She was big into photography. This is also a 3-star, and there's a past present timeline because there's a guy kind of like helping her. When she wakes up, she realizes she no longer has like a relationship with her family, and she's very confused, and he kind of helps her find her way back, and you find out they have a past. But I am going to use these doctor stickers from my shop. These are in the foil color of Mid Blue, and I think it works perfect with like the cover of this book. And yeah, it was like an okay read. I'm not like out here ready to read more from Emma Gray. It's just, I had heard some mixed things about this book, and I wanted to see, like, I had seen some people giving it like 6 stars, favorite romance ever, and then some people giving it like a 2-star. So I was very curious about it. I'm glad that I read it. It just like wasn't overly for me. So the next thing I read after this, we're gonna do this a little out of order because one thing is a 5-star and then we have 2 4-stars. We'll do our 2 4-stars, or a 3-star, 4-star on this page, and then a 5-star on this page. Basically what I'm getting at. Okay. So we'll just separate these. The 3-star was Quicksilver by Callie Hart. The quote that I picked was, "For those who live their nightmare, for those who live their nightmares so that others may have their dreams." This is in font choice 3, obviously from my shop, custom quotes. You can tell me exactly what like dimensions you want and I can make them happen. And then I do have 3 things to pop in for this book. We got some fan art of Saris and Kingfisher here. They look cute. Pop this in like this. If you don't know, I'm not like a fantasy girl, so it's not like shocking. It's actually like a 3 is a really good rating for me for this particular genre. Then we've got a sword here. Probably just pop it in like this. And then I have a little fox because there's like a little fox companion throughout the story, so I wanted to include that as well. We'll pop in our star rating, and then I'll go in with my fantasy deco. It's kind of like a pretty grim start to the month. Oh, so many 3-star reads. It's kind of like the theme of the month with so many 3-star reads, but it's fine. It's all good in the hood, you know what I'm saying? Could be worse. Could be much, much worse. Could be all 1-star reads, and that would be really tragic. I am going to be using the Fantasy Deco in Purple Hollow for this, which I think will be really cute. Oh my god, I forgot to put in the book. You guys, what is wrong with me? I think my brain is like not present today. That's fine. I don't love that. Yep, but the decision has been made. Okay, okay. Whether we like it or not, it's what's happening. You know, hopefully once we get like 5 books in, I stop being so bad at this. Like, I don't know what is wrong today. I am a little bit tired. I have not had much caffeine. The like 5th of this Diet Coke that I've drinking is all the caffeine I've had today. And I had a fat pancake brunch, so it could be part of my issue is this carb overload that I am in right now is making my brain a little mashed potato-y. But anywho, that's Quicksilver. Technically the next thing I read was Horror Store by Riley Sager, but I'm going to put that on this side because it is a 5-star, so I want more space for it. So we're just going to put our next book after that, which is The Bodyguard by Catherine Center, which I gave 4 stars. Just looking for the quote, looking for the quote, looking. There it is. This needs box size 5. I don't really think so. I think it could probably go on. No, it's too long. It's a bit too long for that. It's a bit too long for that. That's fine. It's all good. It's all good in the hood. Okay, box size 5. The quote that I have is, I wonder if having faith in yourself was just deciding that you could do it, whatever it is, and then making yourself follow through. Love that quote. I'm going to kind of put this to the side and then layer the book, because we're not going to forget the book. We're not going to forget the fan art. We're not going to forget anything for this one. Do you get it? Do you got it? Are we together here? I like to always try to cover up the page number because I hate that this journal has page numbers. I actually also hate that I put this diagonal like this. It's not staying that way. That looked hideous. We'll do that. That doesn't look too bad. That's pretty cute. So we have that. We are going to put in our star rating eventually. We're going to first put in our deco, which we have a bunch of stuff here. A beaded safety pin. We've got the cow. Where are we? And cinnamon gum. Those are the things that are for this book. So basically we have our main character. Her name is Hannah, and she's a bodyguard, and she gets hired to be a bodyguard for this like musician Jack, and he's not like super excited about it, but it's a really cute little romance, and they end up falling in love, obviously, because it's a romance. And yeah, I love Catherine Center. I thought that it was super well done and super emotional and cute, and I just really, really liked it. And I have the Kisses deco in gold stars to go with this, and we'll put in our star rating of 4. This is in a My Besties Pick My Reads video. My friend Madison had really wanted me to read this, and yeah. She's basically his bodyguard, and they have to be fake dating, which fake dating is one of my favorite romance tropes. I don't know why, just something about it, where they're like pretending to be dating, and then they end up like being like, oh wait, maybe I actually really like you. It's just so cute to me. So we're gonna toss in some of these gold kissy kissies, because they are so cute. And then if you read, I did not read them in like, not like the proper order because they're not like a series, but Jack, the male main character in this book, does pop up in the rom-commers. So that's just like a little cute bit of info to have. This fell in, I think my favorite Catherine Center I've read is Hello Stranger. I gave that 5 stars. And then this is, I think, number 2, The Bodyguard. And then number 3 is the rom-commers. I don't really like the male main character in that book. He pissed me off, and once I'm kind of pissed off and I don't like you, it's kind of hard to come back. So he had a hard time like redeeming himself. Next we read Horror Store by the one and only, what's his name? Grady Hendrix. I need to get out all sorts of different sizes for this. We need this size. We need this size. And we need this size. So this book is a horror book, and it's basically like almost like a, it's very campy. I guess that's like the right phrase. Where it's basically a like haunted house story that takes place in an IKEA. And honestly, that's amazing to me. So the quotes that I have for this, we have our bigger quote here, is, here was the other option. The tranquilizing chair, here was the other option, the tranquilizing chair. It was always waiting for her. It always wanted her back. It always wanted her to quit again, to sit down and never get back up. In the end, Amy thought everything always comes back to those 2 choices. Stay down or stand up. Oh, it was so good. It's very like I said, it's very like silly but also spooky. I love a haunted house story, and I just thought it was just fun. It was a fun time, and I give it 5 stars. The next one is, it's complicated, but pain and fear have a way of simplifying things. I'm gonna put this little tiny quote on this little tiny box. So cute. And then finally we have got, she didn't expect life to be fair, but didn't have to be so relentless. And then I used like this spooky font. I offer like upload your own font, so you can literally find any font on the internet and upload it and get your quotes in those fonts. We have our book cover, which looks a little funky because the actual book cover, the actual book itself, is rectangular, or is like a perfect square like an IKEA magazine. So I'm gonna pop this kind of in the center-ish of the book, or of the page. Perfect. Perfect, perfect. Love, love, love. And then we'll pop in our super long quote here. I'm gonna pop the book in here like this. I think that looks cute. And then we have got, there's some ghost hunting. There's a whole thing about bliss tacks and black rats. So those are just like some of the other little doodads I have to add in here. So we'll throw in our quotes. I'm gonna put in our star rating somewhere. That works out fine for me. Then I'm gonna put the like EMF thing there. And then we'll pop in some black rats, which is how I feel about the black rats. Could throw up thinking about it. A black rat there. Toss in a bliss text here. And then I printed out 2 more black rats. I don't know that I'll put both of them in, but we'll do our damn best to put them in, find a spot for them. Pop in this black rat and another one here. Perfect. I think that looks so disgusting, just the way I like it. And then I'll pop in our 5 stars, because this was a 5-star read. This doesn't have like the best ratings on Goodreads, and I think it's because like it is so hee hee ha ha. Like it's literally a horror story that takes place in an IKEA, and there's like jokes in it. So like I think it has, I don't know where that cut me off, but I feel like you have to enjoy, like you have to just be along for the ride and accept it for what it is. I do have the Bloody Deco from my shop in black, and this is like the situation where since this is a full page spread, I will probably use the majority of this deco. But that's fine. It's all good in the hood. Put out like little bloody handprints, blood splatters. But yeah, this book was so good. I loved it. I just love Grady Hendrix. I actually read 2 books by him this month. And I actually don't have that many left that I know of. I need to still read We Sold Our Souls, as well as The Final Girls Support Group. And the only book that I've read by him that I haven't liked, like that I like don't like, is I listened also to The Blanks, which is a short story by him, but I did not like How to Sell a Haunted House. That's been like my only like real big flop with Grady Hendrix. Okay, next we have got another twofer on this page. Another little 2-banger. We'll pop this. Also, this was in the same video as this, where my friends picked my read. The next book is going to be Greenwich Park by Catherine Faulkner. This was also in the Reading New to Me Authors video. And that video did not go very well, I will admit. The quote I have is, "With every new misery, another thread comes loose." Pop it on here. Pretty short quote. And then I do have the baby deco here, because this book is about a woman who is pregnant and pretty much everybody in her life kind of sucks, and she becomes friends with this other woman in the pregnancy class that she's going to. They kind of become friends, only the girl's kind of like weird, or not like weird, but like she's making weird choices. Like she's drinking alcohol, she's doing drugs, she's partying, all while pregnant. Whereas our main girl, Helen, I think. Rachel is like the party animal. I think her name's Helen. Whereas like our main girl, Helen, has experienced child loss. So again, make sure you check your triggers for this book and the next book. Whew. If child loss is something that you can't handle, this might not be the book for you. But she's like trying to be very careful in this pregnancy because she's experienced loss. And this book I gave 2 stars, and I did unhaul it. I just found it to be very predictable, and I was not a fan. Basically is what it comes down to, but you know, it is what it is. She starts suspecting like that something's going on with this Rachel girl, because she's just acting very erratic. She like keeps inserting herself into into Helen's life, like moves herself into her house type of insertion. And it's a book that I have read and I did not like, and I disliked the writing enough that I don't think I would even really consider picking something else up by this author. I mean, if there's something that you think I would absolutely love, I guess let me know, but this was not a strong showing from her. I think this may have been her debut, so maybe that was part of the reason. It also was like 400 pages of boringness, and there was not a single twist that got me. I guessed every single thing that happened I thought was obvious from the beginning, literally from the absolute beginning. So there is just that. But that is gonna be everything for that, and this is in Pixie Lime. The next book I read for my Reading Sad Books video was A Little Life by Hanya Yanagihara, and I gave this book 4 stars. I do really like a sad book, but this book just had like no reprieve from the sadness, which like I get is kind of the point. But I like for there to be like 1 or 2 things that like make you happy while you read it, and this book just did not have that. It did not make me cry, but I did find it very triggering. There is very in-depth discussion about self-harm, which is something that anything that involves like mutilating the human body and blood really is just not something I personally can handle. So it was like actually making me a bit lightheaded. But it is about this group of men who are all friends, and our main guy, Jude, is dealing with some extraordinarily heavy stuff throughout the book. The quote that I picked is, "You won't understand what I mean now, but someday you will. The only trick of friendship, I think, is to find people who are better than you are. Not smarter, not cooler, but kinder and more generous and more forgiving. And then to appreciate them for what they can teach you and try to listen to them when they tell you something about yourself, no matter how bad or good it might be. And to trust them, which is the hardest thing of all, but the best as well. It is a very deep story about friendship and loss and abuse and assault, and it's heartbreaking. It's just heartbreaking. There's talk about wheelchair use and a cane from our main character. So those were the like deco things that I chose to use for this. And then we will put in my rating of a 4. It's also a book that I don't recommend. Like, though I think it is very impactful and very deep, it was like a very exhausting read. I had mentioned that in the video when somebody commented and was like, that's like the best way to put it, that this book is exhausting to read. And I'm going to be using the Dr. Deco in silver for this. If you read the book, you know why. You get it. You know why we're using it. So I went into this book not really knowing super what it was about, like, other than I knew that it was trauma porn, as people say, but I think not really knowing what I was getting into was for like the best. I was able to just kind of take everything as it was and see the story through, which I did. But I did also listen to this on audio for that video, and I think that was helpful because if you are unaware, this book is like 700 or 800 pages long of just pure misery. So I think being able to just listen to it while doing other things did help get through the book. You know what I mean? It was very helpful. But that's going to be everything here. And then also for the sad books video, I read one of my favorite books of the year, which is Promise Me Sunshine by Cara Bastone. I have so many quotes because like I just couldn't pick. There was so much. This book deals heavily with grief. We have our main character, and she has recently lost her best friend. Her best friend died of cancer, and she's having like a really hard time like living, essentially, like being able to find the positive, being able to move forward, because she's just so consumed in her grief, which as somebody who has been there with losing my mother, it felt so deeply and like horribly, miserably relatable to me in so many places. And it literally, I was sobbing so many times reading it. But basically, she works as a nanny, and for the last few years, well, her best friend, who was also, they lived together, they were roommates, was battling deep into her battle with cancer. She had stopped working like long-term positions of nannying. She would just take short-term assignments so that she could be there for her best friend. And her name's Lenny, the main girl. And she gets this job now that her friend has passed, and it is to nanny this little girl, Ainsley, I think her name is. And Ainsley's uncle lives upstairs, and for reasons you find out, they don't have much of a relationship. And he himself, his name's Miles, wants to have a relationship with his like estranged sister and his niece, because it's the only family he has, because he's experienced great loss. And he basically helps Lenny accomplish this list that she has, that her and her friend called the Live Again list. Some of the quotes, well, all of the quotes that I picked is, I didn't even know until this second that I've been protecting this untainable pain because it's all I have left of her. Literally have been there. Grief is a relationship. It's the way we figure out how to keep loving them even though they're gone. And in order to do that, we have to keep on going and going and going. His hold is tighter and tighter, and mine is tighter and tighter, and I slid off the desk and into his lap. You are not betraying her by healing, he whispers directly into my ear. You are honoring her. You are learning to love her exactly as she is, as someone who isn't here anymore. That's who she is now, and this journey through grief, it's what we do for the great loves of our lives. Literally, it's making me cry reading it. Part of taking care of people you love is taking care of yourself, right? Facts. And this journey through grief, it's what we do for the greatest love of our life. And then just remember something good for you, something bad for you, and a change of scenery. That's the winning formula. That's like a theme that they talk about a lot in this book, is if you're like going through it and you feel like you can't get through the day, you need to get yourself kind of like out of it. You need to find yourself, get yourself something, do something good for yourself. Like for example, going for a walk, getting out in nature, moving your body. Then do something bad for yourself. Have a donut, get the fried food, get the McDonald's. Then and have a change of scenery. Go somewhere new that has, you have no association to anybody or anything sad in that place. And that's the winning formula. And yeah, it literally made me cry so bad. So I'm gonna put this in here because this gave the vibes of the Live Again list to do, live in the moment. It's literally so cute. Oh my god, but it's such a good book. And it makes me want to read anything and everything Cara Stone has ever written, because this book just hit me so deeply. Okay. Actually, this is also followed by another 5-star. We're having back-to-back bangers. Ooh. You love to see it. Like, listen. Sad book video was a bop. We had 2 5-stars and a 4-star. Am I a masochist? Maybe. Do I just love putting myself in pain? Seems that way. It truly, truly feels like that's the case. So, in this, there's also this whole thing with getting like, there's a whole like sentiment about wolves and how like wolves are not like solo creatures, that like they howl to find each other and stuff like that. So we've got our howling moon wolf situation. The rest of the things I have that I like for sure want to, I have like one thing that I don't really care if it like makes it in here, but I definitely want to get all of my quotes in here for sure. I think this might be like one of my favorite book journal spreads ever. It's gonna just be like so obnoxious. Okay, let me lift this. I'm gonna move these over a little bit. This way. That's perfect, so that I can fit this in here. Perfect, perfect, perfect. So we have got a pink pen because that's what the list is written in. There's this whole like deeper meaning behind the list, and I'm not gonna tell you because it's a spoiler, but ugh. And then there's this whole thing where like she wants to like carry Len, or her best friend, with her at all times. And so he gets her a locket to put her picture in, and oh my god, I'm gonna cry thinking about it. So we'll pop in the locket, and then there's like this silly little joke that they do where they make cupcakes, and then in one cupcake they put a cocktail onion, and that's the surprise cupcake. So I thought that was like a little funny thing to include. And then I have guacamole and bricklaying, but I'm not gonna use those. Those were like whatever. And then I have some heart deco in pink tie-dye because the cover of this book is like the epitome of pink tie-dye foil. So we're just gonna fill in some of the empty spaces. And because there's lots of quotes, it's kind of like a very black and white. And like this is very like neutral colors. It's not very colorful. So we're just gonna toss in these hearts to add some pizzazz to this spread for this book. But this book was so good. If you are somebody who can handle topics of grief, which I know that grief can be a triggering subject for a lot of people for a lot of reasons, all of which are very understandable, but if it's something that you can handle, this book really does turn itself into a book about hope and how to move forward, and it was very meaningful to me. So that will be everything for Definitely, nope, for Promise Me Sunshine. The next book is Definitely Better Now, which I also gave 5 stars. This is by Ava Robinson. And this book is about our main character, and she is navigating life sober for the first time. She is an alcoholic, and she is 1 year clean. And you learn all about like her struggling with her addiction and how it stems from her dad and his addiction. As somebody who has dealt with addiction, like addicted parents and family members, and alcoholism, it runs rampant through my family. This book really resonated with me. It's very interesting because one of my friends read this as well, my friend Christy, and she thought it was just okay. And I think if alcoholism is not something that touches you in a way, then you probably won't like this book. But unfortunately, it is something that I know all too well. So for me, it was a hit. And the quotes that I have is, before high school, all I knew about drinking was that it was powerful enough to blow up your life. These boxes in front of me told a story of an unsatisfied man when searching for something he couldn't name. He didn't find it in AA or in mushrooms or even in medication, but he'd tried. How had I not seen it before? And then this one, oh my God. I watched his every movement and analyzed them to puzzle together whether he was drunk or not. He was blinking slowly, almost as though it was taking effort for him to open his eyes again. But that is a point towards drunk. But he'd come back in a reasonable amount of time with everything he said he was going to get, and that was a point towards sober. I've been playing this game my whole life. Even before I could talk or walk, I was trying to figure out if he was drunk. And those were all just very intense for me, intense moments. So this book takes place in New York City also. So we have this big old picture of New York City here. So we're gonna pop that in. We are gonna pop in, there's like a whole thing about like a work holiday Christmas party. So I'm gonna layer this in here. Just talk about the New York Yankees. Which this book also deals with grief, just letting you know. Grief is like a topic that tends to get a high rating from me, obviously, as you can probably tell. We're gonna throw in some of our quotes now so we don't run out of space for them. This quote's kind of huge, so it's gonna cover a little bit of the Yankee thing, but I don't really care all that much about that, so it's fine. Pop this quote in, and we'll pop this quote in. Do have like 2 other things I would really like to include, so we'll make it work. We will make it work. That is the AA logo, probably pretty important, and then sea glass paint. This looks amazing. And then I just have some star deco I thought would be like really pretty, and this is in orange. We're not gonna probably use very much of this deco. This is one that you'd have a ton left over for future spreads. I also need to put in my rating. I'm not gonna forget. We'll just pop it down here, and it is a 5-star. It just is. It just was for me. It hit very hard. It was one of those where it had long chapters and I still gave it 5 stars because it was just healing for the soul. I felt very seen, very understood, and like if you know me as a person, you know that I don't consume alcohol, and it's not something that I really like am uncomfortable talking about. Like if somebody asks me, I feel like it's very rude to ask somebody why, and because I know not everybody feels comfortable talking about these sorts of things, so I don't recommend you asking somebody. If somebody says they're not drinking, you say, okay, well, could I get you some water or some soda, whatever. But I come from a family with a long history on both sides of my family. People have struggled with addiction, and I have an addictive personality type, and I just don't think it's something that's worth risking. So that is that book. And then we had a 3-star and a 2-star, which is a little bit trashy. We're gonna use this divider because I just think it's really pretty, and I want to make sure I use it with like these dangly stars. How stunning is that? So the next book I read is Again and Again by Jonathan Evanston, and here's my quote. I need another sheet of box. Version 1. The quote I have is, if I've learned anything in 1100 years, I've learned this. It's not an easy task finding love, and more difficult still holding on to it. So hold on tight, as if your life depends upon it, because it does. And get ready to hurt, my friend, because this life will break your heart again and again. This is about an old man named Gino in a nursing home, and he claims that he's lived 1100 years, and in every lifetime he is trying to find the great love of his life that he lost. And the like last 25% of this book like truly were so good, but unfortunately everything prior was not. It was, the whole beginning was so boring that I just couldn't give it a higher rating than a 3 because I was so bored for so much of the book. But we've got like a little nursing home picture there. We'll pop in our quote. We'll pop in our book. Here it is. And then I do have Gino, you can tell by the cover of the book, there's literally puzzle pieces all over it. He loves putting together puzzles. So we've got some puzzle deco here as well. Perfect, perfect, perfect. We'll put in our star rating of a 3. It's one of those where it's like, if it sounds interesting to you, sure, I recommend it, but just know that like the beginning is very slow. And Gino's kind of unlikable, and there's like this nurse in the nursing home named Angel, and he and Gino develop this like friendship because Angel is the only person who's like listening to Gino's stories and like believing in him. So we have the doctor deco here in Pixie Blue because he is in like a nursing home and he's like getting his vitals checked all the time. He's kind of ill. He's literally like 100 years old in the book, and then he claims he's like actually like 1,000 years old. So I thought the doctor deco would be perfect for this. I'll throw in some of the stars throughout in Pixie Blue. Looks so pretty with this blue book. Freaking blue books are ruling my bookshelves. So sick of them. But blue foil is always fantabulous. So at least there is that saving grace that I can use these pretty foils. Okay, then for episode 2 of YouTube Comments Pick My TBR, I read Carry On by Rainbow Rowell, which I gave 2 stars. I'm sorry about it. But I have this quote that says, "You were the sun and I was crashing into you." Perfect. Love it, love it, love it. I mean, I don't, but it's all good. It's all good. They can't all be winners. This is like essentially like gay Harry Potter is what has been pitched to me as, which like is fine. I love that idea. But I just didn't like the book. And the fact that they referred to the magic people as magicians is just something I can't get past. Like I just can't get past it. So got some fan art of the characters here, which I think is very cute. They are very cute boys. Cutie pie honey bunches. As well as another thing of fan art here. Pop the book in here. And then we'll pop our quote in here. And I'll put my rating up there, I think. Will be cute, perfect, lovely, wonderful. Fits great. I forgot, oh no, there's my rating there. This was a 2-star read for me. And I will not be continuing the series. And then I do have my witchy deco, and this is in Shattered Rainbow. Thought that this would be good because, you know, magic. Or as they say, magic-s with an S also bothered me. There's just too many things that bothered me about this that I could not get behind, unfortunately. I wanted to like it so bad. And I even listened to it on audio because I thought that would give me like the greatest possibility of loving it is if I listened to it. And I just did not. My friend Emily got this book for me and had wanted me to read it, and she was the comment that got picked for me to read it, and I was like, I'm sorry, but I just hate it. And she was like, it's okay. She was like, sad, but it's okay, you don't have to like it. And I'm like, I know, but I feel bad. I do feel bad when somebody gives me a book and I don't like it, but it's just my truth. This was followed by, I think, what is currently my favorite book of the year, simply. and that is Say You'll Remember Me by Abby Jimenez, which this book is getting kind of a lot of hate for being depressing, but I don't mind. I like it. I liked that it was sad. It felt very realistic to real life with people who are going through real life issues that are like not happy. So like obviously the situations are going to be tragic because it's just like it's bad times. In this book, our main girl, Samantha, her mother is struggling with early onset dementia. She meets this guy, Xavier. They hit it off. They go on a really good date, but then she is quite literally moving to California to help take care of her mother, who literally doesn't even remember her because her dementia is so bad. I do have a full spoiler-filled video for this book over on this channel. It's this channel. This was our book club pick last month, and if you want to watch me cry reading this, feel free to go watch that video because I loved that video. I loved this book. It was everything I wanted it to be, everything I needed it to be, and I thought it was amazing. I thought it was incredible. I thought it was freaking amazing, fantastic. The quotes that I picked is, there is nothing more beautiful than being a witness to somebody's life, to know them inside and out and be with them through everything. Share the same memories. Memories are everything. I want that. Then we have, love could sometimes be a weakness. Mercy could sometimes be cruel. What? No, that's not correct. That was from a different thing and I accidentally forgot to change it. Whatever, we'll just use these three quotes. My other quotes are, the best moments don't have to be forever. And then the other one is, I think we grow up and we either get harder or we get softer on our parents. We realize how fucked up they actually were. Or we give them a pass because adulting is hard and now we get it. And they're people and they make mistakes. So, for this, we have got a cute little mini golf date situation. That's kind of like the date that started their love for each other, was this situation. So I'm gonna pop this quote right in there. He is a vet and she has a cat that didn't have a butthole. And that's so funny, but so we'll pop the cat in there. There is a whole like running inside joke about the song Come On Eileen. So I have like the lyrics to that right here. There's a whole thing about a pug in this. And then also mustard. So pop in some of our other quotes. Don't want to not have room for them. Pop this here. That works out fine. Pop in the book, in the mustard for sure. You need mustard. Her job is she like works in social media for a mustard company, which is just so funny to me. It's just so silly, but I love this book. People gave it shit for it being too sad and that like these characters couldn't catch a break, and then people gave it shit for like the current lingo, like we're saying the guy looks like Rhysand and saying that wasn't on my bingo card and whatever. But like, I'm thinking of it in fact, like if I'm reading a book right now that was written in 2015 and there's like some like silly little 2015 lingo, I look at it like nostalgically and like it's fun. And I feel like that's how this will be in a few years. So this is the dog deco sheet. I thought that would be perfect because he is a vet and he has a dog, and it's so funny. He basically like kidnaps the dog, and because its owner wants to, this happens in chapter 1. The owner wants to put the dog down even though it's not sick because she just doesn't want to care for it. It was like her mom's dog and her mom died, and so she got the dog and she was just literally like, I just want to put it down. So he like kidnaps the dog basically, and he ends up naming the dog Jake from State Farm, and it's just so funny to me. It's just all so good. So we're using the doggo deco and it's all cutie pie honey bunch, but I thought it was an amazing book and I loved it. I really truly did. And I love Abby Jimenez. Maybe I'm a little bit biased because I think she's the greatest thing since sliced bread personally. Like I would go on a trip to Minnesota just to go to Nadia Cakes, which is her bakery, because I'm that dedicated to the cause of Abby Jimenez, simply. If you live in Minnesota and you've been to Nadia Cakes, I need an update. And it is briefly mentioned in this book, which I thought is always like so cute, and I love when she does that. but that's Say You'll Remember Me. And that was in its own video. Then we had some back-to-back flops, 2 2-star reads. Again. The first one is Dearest by Jackie Walters. Box version 6. The quote I have is, maybe that is the burden of motherhood, to give all that you can and know that it will never be enough. In this book, we have our main character, and she recently had a baby, and her baby's name, well, no, everybody has flower names, Fern, Iris, I don't really remember. But she has her baby, and basically she's not like obsessed with the fact that she's had this baby. Her husband is deployed. She's having a really hard time. Her in-laws came and helped for a bit, but then they like had to go because they had their own lives to deal with. And so she calls her mom, who she's kind of estranged from. Like, she writes her an email and her mom shows up. And things are very creepy until they're not, until they're just boring. And then they're just boring for the rest of the book. There was so much talk about breastfeeding and nipples, and like, I get that that is like a big part of having a baby, but like, so much of this book just talked about nipples, and I just couldn't have it. I couldn't handle it. So there's this whole thing about this like hippo birth tusk. So we have that, and then there was like a whole thing about beetles. So we're gonna throw in a black little beetle. Really disgusting. That's how I feel about that thing. And then I will put in my 2-star rating right here. This book was not good. Also unhauling it. And then I did get the baby deco in black, I think, or navy. In navy to go with this, because this book's actually more navy than it is black. 2 stars. So we have navy baby deco, because there's this. Some of my favorite tropes in horror / thriller is like creepy kids. I thought that like maybe the baby was gonna be creepy, and it just wasn't. It was just so dumb, so dumb, so dumb, and I hated it. It has really bad reviews on Goodreads, so I don't think this is like a me issue. I think it's like an issue with the book. And I never, ever, almost never have enjoyed a book of the month thriller / horror pick. I no longer even pick them, if I'm being honest with you, because I've been kind of burnt by them so many times. I just don't think that whoever's on the team that picks their thrillers and stuff, we don't align in enjoyment. So I think that for me, I like every once in a while I'll be like, that sounds so good, and it just like never is to me very good. So that's that. And then I read my Afterlight book for the month, which is Fan Service by Rosie. I've always pronounced it Danan, but I've heard someone else say Danan, so now I'm unsure of how we say it, but by Miss Rosie. And this is a monster romance, and I just did not like it. I am gonna be unhauling it probably to my friend Shanna. She's getting it from her library, and if she likes it, I told her I'll send her the fancy copy. But I just thought it was not good. I'm fine. I've read a monster romance before and liked it, but I think because like a big part of this was like werewolves don't exist. Let me back up. This is in a reading both of these are in a reading my book subscriptions video. And I think I would have, and basically this guy, he was on this werewolf TV show, and the girl ran like a fan page for it. And one day he basically thinks he's turning into a werewolf. Werewolves don't exist in this society. That's just like his first thought is, oh my god, I'm like, simply the only option is that I'm turning into a werewolf. And I'm just like, I don't really know how that's like the first place your mind goes when werewolves don't exist. And then the main girl is just like, oh yeah, obviously that's what's happening. Let me help you. After he's been kind of like a dickhead to her when she was younger and she met him. And I don't know, I thought it sucked. So that's my conclusion, is that it sucked. And I stand by that. And I gave it 2 stars. This is my second book by Rosie. I have also read The Roommate, which I liked infinitely better. I think I gave it 3 or 4 stars, but I've also unhauled that and gave that to my sister because I thought she would like it more than me. But yeah, I'm not gonna be like going out of my way for this author, if I'm being honest with you. But I gave it 2 stars, so we'll pop that in there. And then we have like the super blue moon, whatever, and a werewolf. And then I have some dog deco again. This is in light purple. And this is the Afterlight exclusive edition cover. But she is a vet, so that's why I'm using the dog deco. And you know, wolves are dogs, so thought it worked out just splendidly to use the doggo deco for this. You know what I'm saying, Mr. Krabs? So, yeah. I feel like it's every time I do a 5-star read, it's followed by like a bunch of really big disappointments. But hey. Reading is all about chasing that 5-star feeling, if you ask me. Like every book I read, I'm just trying to find another book that makes me feel that same joy that the 5-star gave me. So just pop a paw down here. And that's gonna be everything for fan service. I feel like I'm going pretty quick. I'm pretty proud of myself for this. Next, I read Out on a Limb by Hannah Bonham Young, followed by, okay, these are both 4-star reads. Okay, so we had like some improvement simply between these two. So I did give Out on a Limb 4 stars. It had the possibility of being a 5. Basically, we have our main character Win and our main guy Bo, and they hook up at a party, literally like chapter 1, and Win ends up pregnant. And the reason I did not give this book 5 stars is because this happens in the beginning. I don't consider it a spoiler. You know she gets pregnant. I find the way she got pregnant to be like morally wrong. Basically, they're about to have sex and the condom box is empty, and she says like, I'm clean, I don't have any STDs, and I'm on birth control. And he says, I've been tested, I'm clean as well, like, let's go. So they like have unprotected sex, and then you find out like the next chapter from her best friend that Win doesn't take her birth control regularly. Like she often doesn't take it at the same time or misses her pill and blah blah blah. And I just think that like having sex with somebody under the pretenses that you can't get pregnant and that it's okay to not use a condom because you like don't have any and you want to have sex, and then getting pregnant because you're not taking it regularly is just like morally wrong. So due to those things, I did give it 4 stars because I did really love the characters. Like that was like the only big issue that I had with it. And tell me why does this look so fucking cute? This is some fan art I found of them. Another really like cool thing about this book is that both of the characters are disabled. They have limb differences, and so does the author. So I think that that representation is extremely important and wonderful. So I'm gonna finish putting in the stars, and then I will read you the quote before we move into the next book, which is a super underrated book in my opinion. We have got the quote is, I, like most women my age, have learned to hate myself just enough to appease others. If you're too fond of how you look, you're told you're being unlikable, labeled as self-involved, egotistical, or stuck up. But it's purposeful, pinning us against one another. Consumerism demands we remain unsatisfied with our appearance. If we all liked ourselves, dozens of industries would crumble like Babylon. We have to want a solution to whatever or however many problems plague us in order to keep those factories running, to keep money in men's pockets. Facts. The next 4-star read I had was Jobs for Girls with Artistic Flair, and this is about this woman in the, I think, 70s, and she wants to become a tattooer. She kind of like is an apprentice at her brother's shop, like not an apprentice, like a shop hand at her brother's tattoo shop, and she wants to become a tattooer, but it's just really not something that women in this time period do. So it's like a big to-do of her trying to basically fight her way into an industry that does not want her there. So the quote I have, this is like a woman tattooing, is, a tattoo wasn't just a decal on your body. It was something invisible you made visible. A truth you'd kept to yourself that you were finally willing to have in the open, to be seen. And yeah, I thought this was incredible. There was also a lesbian romance situation, so that was also super fun to see, like the representation in that way as well. Pop this in here. This is just like a tattoo flash sheet situation. Maybe we'll just do the quote kind of like this. That works for me. She loves tattoo. There's a lot of talk about like her drawing flowers, so that's why I went with the flower sheet there. And then we will pop the book in and our 4-star rating, because I thought this book was really, really good and I don't hear anybody talking about it. I picked it up, like I put it on my wish list because I loved the cover. I thought the cover was incredible, and I mean, I still do. And yeah. And then I do have some gold star flower deco. Oh, I also have this gold baby deco. We'll put in the decos for both of these. I was like, there was like this sheet of baby deco. I'm like, what does this go with? Ugh, that makes sense. Okay. Pop in some baby deco over here. We don't need a ton of it because these two are kind of very cramped, very filled, very full. I found tons of things I wanted to include and had some pretty long quotes. So I don't need a ton of the deco, just like a little to make it sparkle, because if one knows me as a person, I'm gonna make it sparkle if it's a possibility. There, that's really cute. And then we will add in some of these flowers, which again I think are so cute, so pretty, so fun, so fab. But I highly recommend. This is like, I think the book I would recommend the most that I read this month, just because I don't think it's gotten anywhere near the amount of like love it deserves. And it is Pride Month, and it is a sapphic romance in parts. Next, we do have 2 more. We have a 3-star and another 4-star coming right on up. Coming up next. Where is that other sheet of dividers that was almost done? Here it is. Like, I want to make sure I finish up this sheet, so I'll do one of these. Yeah, the first one I have is the Door to Door Bookstore by Karsten Henn. And here is my quote. It's a very cute little book. It's very short, like a novella about this old man in Germany. This is about this old man who essentially, he works for a bookshop, and he's like the delivery man for the bookshop. And he like becomes friends with this little girl, and it's very cute. It is translated work, and it felt very like wordy to me. I'm not sure if it was because of the translation, but it felt like too wordy for some reason. But the quote is, "It has been said that books find their own readers, but sometimes they need someone to show them the way." So it was very cute. Gave it 3 stars. I'm happy I read it. It's just not like a new all-time fave, you know? And that's okay. They're not always going to be. So we'll pop this in here with our quote here. And the only like deco bit that I have for this book is literally like a stack of books. So I'll pop this in here. And then we will pop in our rating of 3 stars. Where do I want to put this? I guess here. We'll do it like that, I think. And then I have the book deco, of course. A book about books, you gotta use the book deco. Anything else would just be silly. So silly. Okay, so my book deco is gonna be again in like the pixie blue color. I just think it's so pretty. I love pixie blue. It's, I think, my favorite of all of the blues. It's between this and Blue Pebbles, but I do think that the pixie blue just really does something, you know? It's really shines bright like a diamond. And again, even if you have a book where you don't have all that much to say about it or all that much to put in about it, just adding in this deco like fills it in so nicely and makes it look just as interesting as something that has like a ton going on. So I still think it looks nice, even if it's not like the most exciting book or not a book that I have the most to say about it. I still think that the spread turns out quite nice for it with like a bit of sparkle. And the next thing I read was Kiki's Delivery Service, which is a middle grade fantasy book about this girl named Kiki, and she is 12 and she is going out on the world. That's what happens when you're 12. You kind of have to leave the nest and go figure out your life and find a place, your place in the world. And she finds this town and she becomes the town witch and delivers packages for people, and it's just really, really cute. I gave it 4 stars. And the quote is, "How wonderful is it to have a place to return to?" And it's also a movie, so I do have this, which is, I believe, from the film Kiki's Delivery Service. And then we have her little cat. He's like a big part of her story as well. So we have him, of course, being cool. So we'll pop that in, we'll pop in the book, and then we'll pop in our rating, which is, again, 4 stars. 1. Good thing I have 2 sheets of stars. I learned my lesson last month. If you watched last month's video, it was so chaotic. Oh my god, that video was tragic. If you watched it, more power to you, because it was not good. I was so all over the place. Then for my deco, I of course have the witch deco, and I have it in blue tie-dye. I thought that matched perfectly with this. And yeah, it's just like such like a little cutie time. I highly recommend it. The audiobook is so short. I think it was like 4 hours total, like on 1x speed. So for somebody who listens to things like on a, sometimes I listen between 2 and 3x speed depending on the book and the accents. So like I flew through it and it was so cute. I think it may be a series. I think there may be more books, there may be becoming more books, but I highly recommend. I really enjoyed Kiki and her story, and she was so cute. Such a cutie girl. Perfect. Next up, we had a 3-star and a 4-star. So we will pop in a divider. I'm just like trying to see what size the like deco and stuff is. So the 3-star was The Shining by Stephen King, which I feel like is kind of a controversial 3-star, but I just don't think I really like Stephen King very much, if I'm being honest with you. The Shining is about our main character, Jack, and he is an alcoholic. He gets fired from his job, and then he gets a job caretaking for the Overlook Hotel. He brings his family there. His son, Danny, has what they call the Shine, or the Shining, and I love a haunted house. I love a spooky kid, and those are kind of like the vibes of this book, but I still didn't like it, and I think it's just I don't enjoy Stephen King's writing. It's very character driven and very wordy and very long. And that's just not something that I want in like a horror situation. I want things to be very fast-paced and punchy and scary. And like, it's not that there weren't scary things in this book, this book. I did not think there was anything scary about Pet Sematary when I read it. Like, not a single thing. But there were scary things that happened in The Shining. But for me, it was like, by the time the scary things happened, I no longer cared because it took us too long to get there. Does that make sense? And also, homeboy broke his kid's arm trying to spank him in like the first chapter or the beginning of the book, and I don't know why the wife didn't immediately leave him. That's all I gotta say about that. The quote I have is, "Monsters are real, ghosts are too. They live inside of us, and sometimes they win." Which, like, just even that quote is so sinister and spooky, but like the book was just so boring. Like, I'm so sorry, but it was just so not good. And I gave it 3 stars, and I don't have any intentions of continuing in Stephen King's work. But I had 2 tries. you know, I did try. I have the Bloody Deco in Pixie Hollow. I thought this would look nice because there's just been so much blue. Like the next one's also blue, that I thought that this would go good with the cover of the book because the book's very like blue and white. I thought this would be cute, and I am standing by it. I do think it looks nice. We have the door that says Red Rum on it. If you know, you know. And then we have Danny in the hallway. Yeah, so that's The Shining. It's not something I think I will ever read again. I will not be picking up more Stephen King, but it is a book I can now say that I have read it and I have an opinion on it, and my opinion is that it wasn't good, you know? Then I read Mockingjay by Suzanne Collins. I actually never read the Hunger Games series as a child. I am going to be using the roses in Seafoam because President Snow sends Katniss roses, and so I thought that was like perfect. So I do have like the Mockingjay Part 1 movie poster. This is my least favorite book in this series personally. I like the books that have the games in them, and this book doesn't. This is all about the revolution, which is very important, but I just find it a little bit less exciting. So I gave it 4 stars, which is obviously still an incredible rating. And then I do have the like Mockingjay symbol. We have this quote, which is "You love me, real or not real," which we all know is like one of the most heartbreaking quotes in the whole series, so I had to use it. But yeah, out of the original trilogy, it is my least favorite of the 3, which is fine. My order goes the order that they came out. It goes 1, 2, 3 for me personally, which I don't think, I think from what I see online, it appears that most people like them in the order of 2, 1, 3. Let me know your favorite order of the Hunger Games, because mine, like I said, is 1, 2, 3, but I love them all. I have not yet read Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes or Sunrise on the Reaping. I do own Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. I do not own Sunrise on the Reaping yet because I own every single book in the series paperback. So I don't want to get Sunrise on the Reaping in hardcover, so whenever that comes out on paperback, I will surely pick it up. But I am a Hunger Games lover. Actually now makes me think of my dad. He came to visit about 2 years ago. When he came to visit, I introduced him to the Hunger Games, and like we watched, because there's 4 movies, and he was here for like a week, and I didn't introduce him to it. Like he picked a movie one night, then Chris picked a movie, and then I picked the Hunger Games. So we watched like movies together in the evening, and he became addicted. He loved it. He really, really did. So next we have a 4-star and a 2-star to go on this side of the page. Okay. So the first one is going to be Not Another Love Song by Julie Soto. We've got this quote, which is, it's box version 3. Do we have any of those out? Yes. It's simple, really. It's about a cello that fell in love with a violin. And in this, we have our main character, Gwen, and she is a violinist in the Pops, the Metropolitan Pops or something. It's like an orchestra. And she ends up being offered first chair, which the main male character, Xander, I think. What is with the like X names in romance books? Do people think that they like sound like really exotic or something, and that we like need to use them all the time? Because like they're so common, and like I don't know anybody in real life with these names. So we have some fan art of our 2 characters, but basically he's kind of pissed that she got the position. He thinks he should have gotten it, and it's about their love affair. But it was fine. I gave it 3 stars. Oh, so the 3 and a 2 on this side. It's not very good. I gave it 3 stars because to me, I personally love a deep romance with like a lot of heart, and this romance felt to me very surface level. Like everything about this book felt very, very surface level, which is completely fine if you're just looking for a hee hee ha ha fun time, which sometimes I am. But for me, a book like that just is a 3-star. Like it's just not amazing, and to me a 3-star is good. I'm always like, I should say this in the beginning, and I don't. For me, we can back up and go over my rating system really quick after I pop this in. 5 stars is obsessed, it'll live with me forever. 4 is it's pretty good, not perfect. 3, good, not mad about it. 2 is it was not for me, maybe it was for others. And 1 is hate, what the fuck is this? Like, I thought it was terrible. Which I rarely give 1s. I will usually DNF before I give a 1. But we do have the music deco from my shop in Pixie Magenta. I thought that was perfect for these musicians. These orchestra peoples. So yeah, it was like a completely fine read. This, oh my god, I did not tell you the videos this nonsense is in. These are both for these 3 actually are all for a video that was reading books based on the covers, like reading cute books. Kiki's Delivery Service and The Shining are in my audiobooks for May. The Mockingjay is also in my audiobooks for May, and Not Another Love Song is in my episode 2 of YouTube comments pick my TBR. You guys, you forgot to tell me that. I wasn't telling you the info. I don't really want to use like the record or the microphones because they're not like singers. They're just like playing their instruments. I think actually the guy does sing, but he's like also in a band. It's a whole thing. It's a whole thing. But yeah, it was cute enough. Cute enough is kind of where I stand with it. Didn't knock my socks off. Better than the other Julie Soto book I read this month, which we'll be getting to shortly. So the next book I read, okay, is, you know, unfortunately I have to talk about this, and I'm a little bit like embarrassed. This is actually not in the right order on my thing, which is fine. I just gotta find it. Oh, here it is. Oh, okay. Is Good Old Sky Daddy by Kate Folk. It's something I read, and it is just something. It's basically My Strange Addiction, the book. It's about this woman, Linda, who's in love with airplanes. And she's just ready to die with her airplane. She likes to touch herself on the airplanes. She's just something else. But the quote I have is, "But no man could do for me what a plane could." Oh my god. It's literally the most bizarre book I've ever read in my whole life. So she like dreams of being in a plane wreck. She wants the plane to fucking go down, baby. She thinks that sounds incredible. So we have a plane flying in the air because she also thinks that that's incredible. And then we have a plane blowing up because that's her like lifelong goals. Is to, like, her goal in life is to die in a plane crash, which is like the craziest shit you've ever heard. It's such a weird book. Andrea and I listened to it together on a road trip to Dallas, and the whole time we're just like looking at each other like, okay. But like simultaneously, like, I'm glad that I read it. Like, I'm glad that I can be like, yeah, I read that weird ass book. But yeah, I gave it a 2-star. I mean, I kind of still recommend it, even though it's a 2-star, just because it's so wild that I'm like, yeah, you should just like read it so that you can like be in the know about this bizarre book. But yeah, she spends a lot of time traveling. She literally works to make enough money to fund her like trips. Like, she'll just fly on an airplane somewhere for the day and fly back. At least once a month. Like, she has to go once a month or she's not gonna be like fulfilled and is gonna start like not being able to focus at work and go crazy if she doesn't get her like fix of an airplane. And then her goal becomes to like date a pilot to try to get free flights. It's a journey. It's an interesting time, and if you want to read a book where a woman is sexually attracted to airplanes, then this book exists for you. You know? That's Sky Daddy. Next I read 2 more. We had another 2-star and we had a 4-star. So it's not terrible. It's not terrible. I mean, the 2-star is pretty bad, but hey, it's fine. It's all good. It's all good. You know what I'm saying? So the 2-star, this is going to be in an upcoming video where I read my friend Andrea's favorite reads, favorite books. And this is Rose and Chain by Julie Soto. I think this is like her first, possibly, her first fantasy book. Again, I read Not Another Love Song by her this month, which is so funny because I've never read from this author. So then to like read 2 of her books in 1 month is just kind of wild. But this is like a Dramini fanfic, and I just thought it was the most boring book I've ever read. So the quote I have is, sometimes I have to act without your approval to do what's best for my family, not just for you, all 4 of us. And basically in this book, it's basically like what if the bad guys won, and it kind of gives Handmaid's Tale where like everybody that's like part of the wrong side of things is being like sold, and then once they're sold, they're gonna be becoming their heartstrings, where they essentially are gonna suck out all of their magic in order to take it from themselves and become more powerful. So she gets purchased. She's like the Hermione character, the main girl, and the guy's like the Draco character. And yeah, basically that's that. I'm gonna use some purple roses, some grapes, and a teacup. I don't really remember what the teacup is about, but I put it in my notes and I needed some stuff to put in, so we're going with it. The grapes, it's like if you've seen The Handmaid's Tale, like the show, there's this whole thing about muffins and like the sentiment of muffins mean yes. The grapes kind of are in that same vein of like thing. So, and then a teacup. She'd be loving her tea. So for this, I have the Fantasy Deco in Purple Hollow again. Doing this, my hands are so dry and it's giving me like the heebie-jeebies, how badly I need lotion. So this was book 1. I think it's like gonna be a trilogy question mark. I don't know. I'm abso-fucking-lutely not reading another book in this series. It was like painful to get through. It was so boring. But I read it. Actually read the arc. I read it. I had to read this whole book while Andrea and I were at a board game convention because I had to read her arc for it. So I got to read it ahead of time too, before it even came out, and have an opinion on it. So I'll have like an opinion on it for the moment that it comes out. If anybody asks me, not that anybody ever will, because anybody who knows me knows that this is not the kind of book I read, so I'm not sure why anybody would ask me for an opinion on it. But if the situation presented itself, I do have an opinion. This is so purple though. That looks so pretty. So pretty. Next I read Keep Your Friends Close by Lucinda Berry. Actually, the next 4 books are all 4 stars, so that's pretty good. Keep Your Friends Close by Lucinda Berry. It's about this, like, it's 3 points of view, and it's about this woman who basically drowns in her pool in her backyard during a house party, and then they're trying to figure out what happened. The quote that I have is, after the worst thing happened to you, you weren't afraid of bad things happening anymore. Which I liked that quote a lot, so we're gonna pop this in here. And then we have got, this is I think the only thing that's for this, if I am remembering correctly. Yeah, it's just a pool because she drowned in the pool in her backyard at her like mansion. So pop that in, we'll pop our quote in, we'll pop our book in, our rating, and then our deco. Book. Our rating is 4 stars. I really do enjoy Lucinda Berry's writing. She has a degree in psychology, and I feel like you can feel it in her writing that she like actually knows what she's talking about and she's not talking out of her ass, which I quite enjoy. And then I did use the mystery / thriller deco here in Pixie Lime because it is a lot of trying to figure out what happened. There was 2 twists in this book. The first twist I saw coming, which I was kind of like annoyed about, but then when I realized that wasn't like the real twist, that was like the fake you out twist, and there was a different twist, oh, I was bamboozled. She got me good. And I have been so let down, disappointed, miserable about thrillers this year. which this book is in a video that's all about, do I even like thrillers anymore? Maybe I hate them. I forgot to do the little deco bits up here. And for the most part, there's 1 DNF and 2 4-stars in that video, so, you know, I think it means I still like them. I just need to be more picky, which you'll find out about the DNF when we get to the end, because DNFs go on their own page or their own little section. But yeah, I quite enjoyed this. I've read the one with Hannah and Christopher and Janie. What's that one called? The Perfect Child, as well as I've read the like sequel to that from her. And I think I've read one other book by Lucinda Berry. I think this is my 3rd Lucinda Berry, 3rd or 4th. And I'm a big fan. So we'll put in another divider. Pop this one in. Surely we'll be fine. The next book is Witchcraft for Wayward Girls by Grady Hendrix, which I gave 4 stars, and honestly, I feel like I low-key should have given it 5 stars, like with the amount of time I have spent thinking about it, but it was like 150 pages too long, I will admit. This book is about, in I think like the 70s, there is this home for unwed mothers to go live at. They're like teenagers to have their babies, and then they basically go back home and pretend that none of it ever happened. And these girls come in contact with this lady who's a witch, and things go bonkers. But the quote I have is, "But for girls like us down there at the home, the devil turned out to be our only friend." But I just love Grady Hendrix's writing. Again, we've kind of gone over this before. I think he's incredible. And like I said, I've only had one real flop from Grady, and this was not one of them. So we have the girls like in the woods doing like some chanting and some witchcraft. We have a lava lamp, and we have a silver spoon, because silver keeps the witches out. But it was just so good, and I don't really want to say anything else. If you are triggered by or cannot handle like traumatic birth scenes, I don't recommend. But if you are not somebody who's triggered by those things, then I highly recommend. I thought it was amazing. I loved it. I really, really did. And then I have the baby deco again, and this is going to be in Pixie Gold, because obviously they're having babies. I read so many books about childbirth and children and people being pregnant this month, I swear to God. But it was very interesting. And then I did not read the afterword, but my friend did, and she was telling me about it. And in it, Grady talks about like the research that went into the making of this book, and how he like in part of the book they talk about like Roe v. Wade like coming into play, and how a lot of these homes were like closed after that. But I guess like he did like a ton of research into that like time period while writing this book, which I think is very intriguing. But I loved it and gave it 4 stars. The next book is, I read this for a continuing series I'm in the middle of, which is China Rich Girlfriend by Kevin Kwan, which is book 2 in the Crazy Rich Asians series, which I'm a big fan of. I read book 1 last month, and I'm trying to be better about keeping up with my series. You'll see that a lot. This month and next month, I'm kind of dedicating to getting on top of it. The quote I have is, "People are messy, life gets messy, things are not always going to work out perfectly just because you want them to." In this book, we were planning Nick and Rachel's wedding, and there's a lot of like backstory about Rachel's father. I didn't like it as much as the first book, and there was randomly like footnotes in this book, which I thought very strange, because like as a strange like stylistic change, because there was not any in the first book. So it's very weird. Also, this hand cream that I have is Bath & Body Works Black Raspberry Vanilla. I love this scent. It smells so yummy. Oh yeah, it smells good. I used to have this scent as like a teenager, and the scent memories are wild. But so we have our quote, and then I have a bag of money and a wedding ring, because it is still at the end of the day a Crazy Rich Asians book, so they are crazy rich. Let me just say that, baby. Put this book in here, sure. We will pop in her wedding ring there and the fat sack of cash down here. Maybe I'll do this. Then I am going to put in my rating of 4 stars because I did quite enjoy it. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then I have the wedding deco in light blue. Do a wedding cake because there's a lot of talk about their wedding planning and lots of wedding talk, of course, in the wedding book where they're getting married, and lots of drama, like I said, about her dad, and there's like this really dramatic car accident situation that happens, and just overall it was very entertaining, very interesting, and I really liked it. I really enjoy this series. There's only 1 book left, and I'm very curious, maybe you know the answer why they didn't continue in the movies, because I'm pretty sure that the first movie did really well. So I would be curious as to, or maybe they are planning on doing the rest of the movies, but like, I would love a movie on book 2 and book 3, personally. Personally, where are the movies? Simply. Okay. We only have 6 more books that I've read, and then we have like our DNF. So, oh, I think I actually forgot to get stuff for one of the books, so that's gonna be a situation. Maybe I'll just put it in my next month because I didn't count it in anything. So, I'm just gonna throw it into next month. We'll just pretend that's when I read it, you know? That's fine. So, we have a 4-star and a 3-star coming up next for ya. The 4-star is going to be Chef's Choice by TJ Alexander, which this is another LGBTQ romance. We have a trans man and a trans woman, and I think it was amazing. Basically, our main girl Luna, and this is book 2 in the series, she's the roommate of the main character in book 1, and she loses her job, and she is going to be helping this guy by fake dating him to get his inheritance. Very classic trope, but I loved it. His name is Jean-Pierre, and they have to go to Paris, and it's just so romantic. So we have got Paris, simply, because that's where the competition is. There's tons of talk about cheese boards and charcuterie, so I had to include that. And our main girl loves a pickle, so we've got a big old jar of pickles here. And then I will pop in the quote, and we'll grab the book cover, but I highly recommend. I thought it was so cute, so like I loved how inclusive it was, and I just thought that it was a very sweet story. I liked it better than book 1. Book 1 I gave 3 stars, and this one I gave 4 stars, but I highly recommend the situation. Did I read the quote? It says, that is black and white thinking, and I live in a world full of color. A world full of color. And this is a spicy book, so if you are somebody who feels underrepresented in spicy romance, because most of them are about straight white people, that's the truth of the matter, then this book may be perfect for you. We have got the cooking deco from my shop in light pink. Pop them in here, and oh, the funniest part is neither of them like know how to cook, and they're just like trying really hard. And then like Luna's roommate slash best friend is like a professional chef, so she's like trying to help them, but like they're kind of helpless. when it comes to cooking. So it's just like so funny and cute, and there's a little bit of the same bed trope because Luna's mom comes to visit, and like they don't want their cover to be blown, that they're fake dating, so they have to like share her room because it would be weird if he slept on the couch. Oh my god, it was so good. Highly recommend. That was in my continuing series video, and then I read Hooky for the Reading Andrea's books video, and the quote I have is, "Not all of us are evil. We are not a threat. I've met charming witches, good, lovely, peaceful witches, but you judge us and fear us, you persecute us, and you burn us." Wow, very dramatic, but very true. So, got some cute little art from the graphic novel, because this is a graphic novel if I did not mention that, and it's a very cutie pie one. And I gave it 3 stars. I enjoyed reading it. It's just not something that I think I would really probably ever pick up again. Like, I wouldn't continue the series. I'm not going to be like thinking about these characters. It was cute while I was there, but I don't need more of it. You know? I'm also not like the biggest reader of graphic novels. Like, I think the only ones that I've like given like 5 stars, it's amazing, is Heartstopper, which I stand by. I think Heartstopper is phenomenal. And I'm gonna cry my eyes out probably at the final installment when that comes out. Pop this here, I guess. Hooky. And basically these are these brother and sister witches, and they miss the school bus and they don't want to tell their parents because their parents are kind of evil, and so they play hooky, and then they end up being like wanted, and it's just a funny little time. So we have the witch deco in black, and we're gonna just pop this in here. And they basically find like a teacher and like it's very found family, a group of friends, and they're learning how to be better witches. And yeah, it's just really, really cute found family, which is something I personally love. I'm a big sucker for a found family, and that's a huge component in this book. So if you like found family, if you like graphic novels, highly, highly recommend this for you. It's just something about the like magical fantasy-ness of it that never really like super resonates with me, but I still thought it was pretty cute. And it held my attention, which is the part that's really tricky. Okay, we're gonna have to do a little bit, another little bitty bob of out of orderness, because we have we've got 2 3 stars and then a 5 star. I could do, yeah, I think I'll end on the 5 star. Yeah, that sounds perfect to me. We're gonna use this to separate it. So the next book I read, it's in a video that I have not, it's not up yet. It's gonna be a Reading the Rainbow, like reading super colorful books. And we've got Landline by Rainbow Rowell. The quote I have is, excuse you, "I love you more than I hate everything else." And this is about a woman who is really just like not putting her family first, and through this magical realism telephone where she goes to call her husband and her kids. Basically, they're supposed to be going to visit her in-laws for Christmas, and she kind of bails on them last minute because she doesn't have to, but she is making work the priority, not her family, and it is Christmas, and she's literally leaving her children for Christmas. And she's like, "Well, we can't go," and her husband's like, "You can stay home, like I'm taking the kids and we're going, like sorry to tell you, like this is what's happening." And then she tries to call her husband when she's at home, and when she does, he picks up, but it's like back when they were in high school. And she basically is learning that she needs to get her priorities straight, essentially. And I thought it was cute. I enjoyed it while I read it, and I'm literally never for the rest of my life gonna think about it. I'm never gonna think about it again. But it was cute while I was there. I listened to it. It was a super quick audiobook. And that's that, you know what I'm saying? We had a good time. I have the Christmas deco from my shop here, and this is in Gold Hollow, which I think is really gonna be pretty, and it's gonna really make everything come together and pop. Oh my god, it's so cute. I love Christmas. If you don't know, Christmas is my second favorite holiday. My favorite holiday is my birthday, which if you were gonna give me some sort of your birthday, it's not a holiday bullshit, get out of here. Unsubscribe, go away, bye-bye. This is not the place for you. Because birthdays are holidays, and I like everybody's birthday. I don't just like my birthday. I just love to celebrate birthdays because I like to be able to celebrate one person and really make it about them and do what they love and spoil them and make them feel loved and cared for. Like, I just love a birthday for that reason. Like, it's your own personal holiday. Also, I feel like coming from like quite a huge like family, it was always like family get-togethers and stuff, like you don't really get to spend time with anybody individually. You're spread so thin, especially coming from like a divorced family. I feel like every holiday I was always spread so thin, going to like 1,000 different locations. So birthdays was like one time where it was just about you and what you wanted, and I loved that. Then, out of order, but I did read Horror Movie by Paul Tremblay, and this is going to be in an upcoming reading books I bought because of booktubers, like BookTube influenced me type thing. And I read Horror Movie in that, and the quote I have is, "The mask is ugly and grotesque and familiar, and we cannot stop staring at it because all the monsters are mirrors," which is kind of creepy. In this book, it's a very bizarre book. Like, I'm not really gonna tell you much, but like, there is this group of people and they were making a film, and it became like kind of like a cult classic. However, only like 3 scenes from the film were ever made public, and now Hollywood wants to do a reboot, but our main guy in the book, he's the only person who worked on the original movie that's still alive. Everybody else has since died. And it's just fucking bizarro. The whole book is so bizarre. So we are going to pop this in here. Actually, you know what I'm gonna do? For the book that I missed, I'm just gonna leave a blank page for it to put it in next month. I'm gonna like put the book sticker as like a reminder to get the stuff, and I'm just gonna pop it in there like in my off time. I can't believe I did that. I don't think I've ever done that. But I gave it 3 stars, thought it was decent. Very weird. Then I have the movie deco here in black to fill in the gaps because they are making a film. But yeah, he's the only one who's still alive, and they want him to come like kind of like reprise his role in the movie, and some sinister shit goes down. And that's really all you need to know going into it, because it's fucking weird and kind of horrifying, but also kind of interesting. I didn't know what to expect when I went into it, and I do know that the person that I read this book because of is Kayla, Books and Lala, and I know she's even said like this is not a good Paul Tremblay book to start with, but it is in fact the book I started with. I don't know that I'm gonna read more from him based on this like experience, but I'm not mad that I read this book. Does that make sense? Like, it's very mixed media, which is something that I also love. A lot of like interviews, and like they're filming, so they're like reading the script, and then they'll like fumble over their words and have to like redo parts of it, and it was very interesting the way it was recorded. I enjoyed the audio of it. And then finally, for like what I have stuff for, because this is gonna have to be the one that I come back to, which was also a 5-star read. The one that I'm not gonna be able to put in here is The Fox, the Boy, the Mole, the Boy, the Mole, the Fox, and the Horse, because I failed at getting all the stuff that I needed. So that's just that, and I will add it in at a later date. Next and finally that I'm doing with you guys for the books before we get into our stats is Mile High by Liz Tomford, or Liz Tomfordy. I don't know. I've heard it every way possible, and nobody's telling me the correct way to say it, and I just don't want to mess up, you know. So this is a sports romance where our main character, her name is Stevie. Our main female is dual point of view. The guy's name is Xanders. That's his last name. I don't even know his first name. And he's a hockey player, and she is a flight attendant on the team's private jet. And he has this like super mega dickhead bad boy persona, but that's just the thing. It's just a persona. And he lets Stevie in to see who he really is, and it's just really, really cute times, you know. Also, the main girl is like not skinny, and that's like a big topic in the book, is like body confidence, and like the way he makes her love herself is wild. It like makes my heart so happy. So we have some fan art ×2 of the couple of them like coming out of the airplane, and this is everybody's least favorite book in this series. So I'm like, if this is your least favorite in the series, then I'm gonna become insufferable when it comes to the other books, if they're like even better. And then we have this of them. We have a big fat quote that I'm gonna put in the middle that says, being vulnerable and authentic is scary, man, terrifying. But to the people who matter to you, the ones you've shown your true self to, they love you unconditionally. Why not let others love you unconditionally too? At least give them the chance to. Oh my God, I just almost covered his face. Sorry, my dude. I mean, you're obviously not the main event, the girl is. I mean, this book is quite spicy, which is kind of shocking that I rated it as high as I did with how spicy it is. But I just loved them, simply. The other quotes that I have is, he loves hard and cares about his people like you wouldn't believe. So there's nothing about him that needs to change. He just needs someone to accept who he is and appreciate what he brings to the table. This is like an ongoing quote throughout the book, is, you following me? And then, you don't have to love your body every single day. That's unrealistic to expect, but I'll be here loving it for all the days that you can't. Literally makes me want to cry thinking about it, because Stevie girl just deserves the world. She's just such a sweet soul. Put this one down here. There's also this other storyline with Stevie, and she volunteers at a dog shelter for elderly dogs that nobody wants, and there's a whole thing about a Doberman, so had to put the Doberman in, of freaking course. And then pop in the like hockey puck behind us a little bit, like glare at it. Be kind of cute. Tiniest bit that I need to trim off of it. Oh, there we go. Pop in our other quotes. There's that one. And then the, you following me? Oh man. Trying to make it all fit. Trying to make it all fit is tricky sometimes. Pop in the, you following me there? I'll know what that means. I'll know it. I don't want to cover her up. Maybe I move this one up because it's not as long. No, I don't think that that's really going to do it for me. This can do that. That's fine. And then maybe I don't put this here. And I pop it here. You following me? And then we do have the hockey deco from my shop in blue pebbles. Oh my God, I gotta put the book cover in. Holy macaroni. We almost forgot the book, guys. That would be freaking silly of me. DNFs are still in here. Here's Mile High. Dang, I should have put the dog over more. That's fine. It's all good. We'll put our rating in here of 5 stars, simply. But like a lot of people give this first book like 1 or 2 stars, and they give the rest of the series 5 stars. So there's that. I'm gonna take a picture of this when I'm done and send it to my friend Caitlin, because she loved this series and we don't like read a lot of the same books. So I think she'll think that this is really cute. And I'm excited to share that with her and be able to talk about a book that we both liked, because she reads a lot of dark romance and I am too much of a baby for that. That's scary as I read horror, but dark romance is its own beast, and it is something that I am terrified by. I am reading a dark romance next month, so stay tuned for that, because I am terrified. But you'll be the first to know. Well, technically you won't. Goodreads will be the first to know, but we will talk about it in depth in book journal about it, you know what I'm saying? I will probably, after I'm done with this, actually like print the stuff for this other side, but you know, I can't believe I did that. It's so stupid of me. But hey, listen, that looks so good if you ask me. So this will be for the book that I forgot about. Simply, it is a 5-star book, but I don't think I'm really gonna need the whole page for it because it's a children's book, you know. So I think I'm actually, even though it's 5 stars, I'm gonna put the book in with its 5-star rating, and then I'll just add the deco and stuff after. But I have like a lot of audiobook listening I want to do today, so it'll be completely fine for me to like add some stuff in. Like I can probably find like an image from the book and put it in there and call it a day. It'll be literally fine. Literally fine. And I did buy some new books that I can print some covers for, and it'll be all good. But I am just gonna pop this in here because I would like to put my DNFs like on a half page because there's only a handful of them. There's only 2 DNFs this month, but you know, want to make sure we can include that info. And then I always got to go back in time to like see what do I do for my DNF page because I don't do it every month, so I'm like not sure. Okay, so I just put DNF in and then some of the books, and I don't know where that cut me off, but we put in the boy, the fox, whatever book. I'm gonna go in and add in the other stuff off camera, and then my DNFs are Mad Woman and Watching You, and I think Miss Lisa Jewell is just not an author for me, is pretty much what I was saying. Which I know she is an author for so many people. So many people absolutely eat up her work, which I love that for you. I love that for Lisa. It's just for me, there is becoming a pattern of me not liking them. The only like real win I've had from her is Then She Was Gone. I loved that book. And then I feel like I was almost pressured into giving the one about lying, Listen to the Lie, or no, that's the Amy Tintera book that I really liked. The green one with like the podcaster and the birthday twin, I feel like I was almost like bulldozed, not by anybody in particular, but by the internet. I feel like I was pressured into giving that a higher rating. Like I think it was really like a 3 for me, and I gave it a 4 because everybody else loved it. So I was like, well, yeah, sure, I want to be like everybody else. But the truth of the matter is like, I don't think I liked it that much. So none of this is true is I think the name of it now that I'm thinking about it. So these are my 2 DNFs. I'm proud of myself for having some DNFs. I struggle with DNFing books because I want to give them a chance. Like the author worked hard on them. I want to give it the full shot, but like I got 30% into I think both of these books, and I was like, I just like don't care. Like the main character could die right now and I would not give a shit. So that was that. Now we will get into our stats, which again I need to look up what I do. April wrapped. Okay. May wrapped, baby. Cannot believe it's June. That feels disgusting when I think about it. Like, we're halfway to Christmas already. How is that possible? My birthday's in 3 months. How is that possible? I'm gonna be 30? How is that possible? I was talking to one of my friends who like yesterday on the phone, not yesterday, 2 days ago, Wednesday, on the phone, who I've been friends with since I was 19. We met when I worked at my payroll job, and that's how we became friends. And I started there a little bit before my 19th birthday, and I was like, yeah, like I'm gonna be 30 this year. And she's like, what? And I'm like, I know. And she's like, shut the fuck up. She's like, that's crazy. And I'm like, I know. So it's pretty wild times around here for me, but hey. Okay, so we have April wrapped, and then we're going to start with our genres that we read. Genres. So cute. So cute. And do a little bit of deco around here. Do a little thing and a little thing. And then we'll do a heart and a diamond over here, like the opposites. Okay, so here are my genres. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So I need to fit in 12 strips, which shouldn't be too terrible to fit in. 1. Trying to get all of the ones that are like just randomly on things. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So 8, 9, 10. Yeah, I think if I make them touch, they should pretty much fit, hopefully. So that's 2, 3, 4. If not, it'll go on the next page, and that's completely fine. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, I think this will fit. I need 3 more. That'll be perfect. And I'll put a divider at the bottom. 10, 11, and 12. Yeah, this fits amazing. I'm so excited. It all fits on one page. And then I'm just gonna use like this fun little zigzag divider down here at the bottom. I think that would look really cute. Add some pizzazz to the bottom. So we have all of our genres here. I'm gonna pop them in and then we'll do the fill-ins. We have got fantasy, which was a pretty high genre for me this month, which is kind of crazy. Romance, romantasy, and like some of these books are also contemporary. I don't really like track that. This is like, I'm going off of what I would classify them as, okay? Horror. Sometimes I'll look on Goodreads for some help if need be, but you know, thriller, YA, middle grade, dystopian, historical, graphic novel, and LGBTQIA+. Okay. Get us into my drink. And we will go down the line. I'm just going to start with the book that I accidentally skipped, which is the Fox the Hole, Fox and the Mole, whatever nonsense. I'm just going to say that that's middle grade fiction. So then we'll just go down my list. Basically, I make a list. I'll like pop up a picture of my one for next month here, and that's how I kind of keep track of everything. And then I just email it to myself. So the Legacy of Young Chen was YA fantasy. So we'll do YA and we will do fantasy. Boom. After that, Pictures of You was romance. Quicksilver was romantasy. Horror Store was in fact horror. Duh. The Bodyguard by Catherine Center was romance. A Little Life was fiction. Greenwich Park was a thriller. Promise Me Sunshine was romance. Definitely Better Now was fiction / romance. It like fell very fiction with romance in it, so I'm gonna count it for both genres. Again and Again was just regular fiction. Carry On was YA fantasy. Fantasy, YA. Say You'll Remember Me was romance. Very romance heavy month, which I've been very in the mood for, so it makes sense. Dearest is horror. That's what it's classified as. I can never tell, so I just like look and see what that one says, and that's what it said. Fan service is fantasy / romance. Oh, I guess that would just be romantasy. Duh. Out on a Limb is romance. Jobs for Girls with Artistic Flair, that's gonna go under fiction and LGBTQIA+. Oh, Carry On is also LGBTQIA+. So we'll pop those both in there actually. Door to Door Bookstore is fiction. Kiki's Delivery Service is middle grade fantasy. Kiki is followed by The Shining is horror. The Mockingjay is YA dystopian. YA dystopian. And then, where am I? Mockingjay, DNF. Not Another Love Song is just regular romance. China Rich Girlfriend is mainly just a fiction, so that's what I'm gonna put that under. That's where you find it at the store. Keep Your Friends Close is a thriller. Oh, also Jobs for Girls with Artistic Flair is also historical. Forgot about that. Sky Daddy is fiction. Rose in Chains is romantasy. Witchcraft for Wayward Girls is horror and historical and fantasy. Horror, historical, and fantasy. Okay. Then Hooky is a YA fantasy graphic novel. Fantasy, YA graphic novel. I'm also sorry about the person mowing the lawn. I'm too close to being done with this to have to stop. Chef's Choice is romance and LGBTQIA+. Landline is fiction. Mile High is romance. And then Horror Movie is horror. Wow, I read so much fiction this month. That's kind of crazy. Oh, I still need this. Then we're gonna move into our locations, which we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 of them. So this should fit just fine. I think I'm gonna do like a divider at the top and at the bottom just for like pizzazz because I have them. And I like the extra sparkle, of course. So we'll do a heart, sure, and a star, why not? Then we will do one of this like starburst situation, which is my last big one. I used a lot of deco bits, this like mixed deco this month. I feel like most months I have a ton left over, but I killed it with these. I guess I need to do 15. I already forgot. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Yes. I think there's 10 on here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Perfect. I have a full sheet that I didn't use, but I can save that for next month. Love, love, love how this is looking. Next month is June. What color do you think I should use for June? Do you have any suggestions? I feel like nothing super feels June to me. Oh, you know, we will be using probably some sort of sparkly rainbow because it's Pride Month. Duh. Duh. And then July, I don't know what I'll use. Maybe we'll use like silver stars or gold stars. I will not be using red, white, blue because being an American is kind of embarrassing. Especially this week. You know, it's been a time. So I'm just gonna pop all of these in, which is so fun, and then we'll go over the locations. I have a feeling at the end of the year, I also am not sure that I did read from some different countries. I already put those in. I'm not sure that we read from any different states. I will check. No, I don't think we maybe Rhode Island. I think Rhode Island might be the only like additional state that we read from, which I don't even have my markers in here, so I have like a brown marker. I can just call it Rhode Island in brown. It's like a dot on the map, so it'll be fine. So tiny. And I'm not like tracking these like locations or anything for any real reason other than like I want to know. And I do find it so interesting the amount of books that take place in New York and in California. There are some books, like I've had a lot of books read from Minnesota, but a lot of Abby Jimenez books take place there. So like it's because of that author. Whereas like California and New York, so many people make their books set there. So we've got fictional or like unknown. We've got Australia. We've got Ohio. We've got Texas. We've got New York, California, Minnesota, Canada, Germany, Colorado, China, England, Florida, Illinois, and Rhode Island. Okay, and then we'll start from the top. The book, the one that I forgot about, is we don't know where it takes place, so we'll just put it under fictional. The Legacy of Yang Chen is fictional. Pictures of You is set in Australia. Quicksilver is fictional. Lots of fictional with these fantasy play books. Horror Store takes place in Ohio. The Bodyguard takes place in Texas. A Little Life takes place in New York. Greenwich Park takes place in England. Promise Me Sunshine takes place in New York. Definitely Better Now takes place in New York. Again and Again takes place in California. Carry On takes place somewhere fictional. Say You'll Remember Me takes place in a combo platter of Minnesota and California. Turns out I forgot a state, which is Vermont. So we'll add it. I'll print that in my other bullshit that I need to print. So Dearest takes place in Vermont. Fan Service takes place in California. Out on a Limb takes place in Canada. Jobs for Girls with Artistic Flair takes place in New York. The Door to Door Bookstore takes place in Germany. Kiki's Delivery Service is fictional. The Shining takes place in Colorado. Mockingjay takes place, fictional. Not Another Love Song takes place in, I Bet You Can't Guess It, New York. Oh, China Rich Girlfriend does, in fact, a lot of it take place in China. Keep Your Friends Close takes place in California. I believe Sky Daddy is also, yeah, also California. Excuse you, chapstick is going underneath the boiler. Sky Daddy, also California, of course. Rose in Chains is in a fictional place because it's Aroma, a fantasy. Witchcraft for Wayward Girls takes place in Florida. Hooky, the graphic novel, takes place in somewhere fictional. Chef's Choice mainly takes place in New York. Landline takes place in California. Mile High takes place in Illinois. It takes place in Chicago mainly. And then Horror Movie takes place in Rhode Island. Okay. I am going to, I don't think we had any Q's, U's, V's, X, or Z's. I did add in the things there, but I will do the states because it's literally just Vermont and Rhode Island off camera. But that's everything, friends. Thank you so much for being here today, and I will see you next month. Bye.